Hello, welcome back. Today I want to discuss the books that I selected for the book club of 2025. These are the books that I will be reading with 100% certainty, and of course you are always free to join me at the book club. The first one I have selected because so many members have been asking to put it on the list. So in January, February and March, we will be reading Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. It's a big one, so this is why I decided we will be reading it over the course of 3 months because I want it to be accessible to everyone. This will be the third time for me reading Les Misérables, and I don't mind at all because it's one of my favorite novels of all time. This is about a prisoner who escapes named Jean Valjean, and he has stolen bread, and so this is why he was convicted. Now he tries to build up his life again, but there is one police officer called Javert who is out for justice, and he wants to put him back into prison. This is going to be such an interesting one to discuss with the group, and I cannot wait to see the discussions. For April, I selected a fantasy novel. We are going to read Piranesi by Susan Clarke. Let's see what this is about. In his notebooks, day after day, he makes a clear and careful record of its wonders, the labyrinth of halls, the thousands upon thousands of statues, the tides that thunder up staircases, the clouds that move in slow procession through the upper halls. On Tuesdays and Fridays, Piranesi sees his friend the Other. At other times, he brings tributes of food and water lilies to the dead, but mostly he is alone. Messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house. But who are they, and what do they want? Are they a friend, or do they bring destruction and madness as the Other claims? Lost texts must be found. Secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. I really do not know what to expect from this one, but I've heard very great things about it. Our second read for April will be The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Next to a fantasy read, I also wanted to pick a sci-fi classic. I have watched the movie a very long time ago, directed by Steven Spielberg, and I loved it. And I'm looking forward to reading the book and then watching the movie and discussing it with the group. This is about machines taking over the world, and it's a sci-fi classic, so I cannot wait to read it. In May, we will be reading The Bride of Lammermoor by Sir Walter Scott. Let me see what this is about. Dark prophecies and ominously symbolic events beset the romance of Edgar, Master of Ravenswood, and Lucy Ashton, daughter of the man who has displaced the ancient Ravenswood family from its ancestral home. Sir William Ashton, the wily and self-seeking Lord Keeper of the Great Seal of Scotland, has used his power to claim the Ravenswood estate, leaving Edgar to brood on his family's wrongs in the lonely tower of Wolf's Crag. His desire for vengeance is challenged and eventually defeated by his love for Sir William's gentle daughter, but his new spirit of reconciliation is frustrated by political divisions and the determined opposition of Lucy's domineering mother. I also really love the cover of the Oxford World edition. We will also be adding a play of Oscar Wilde in the month of May. We will be reading The Importance of Being Earnest. I've read it before and I absolutely loved it. I've read all of his plays, all of his short stories, and of course A Picture of Dorian Gray. But I think that too many people only know The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I want to introduce his plays to more people. And I hope that those who will participate in the book club will fall in love with his plays. This is what The Importance is about. Cecily Cardew and Gwendolen Fairfax are both in love with the same mythical suitor. Jack Worthing has wooed Gwendolen as Ernest, while Algernon has also posed as Ernest to win the heart of Jack's ward, Cecily. When all four arrive at Jack's country home on the same weekend, the rivals to fight for Ernest's undivided attention and the Ernests to claim their beloved pandemonium breaks loose. Only a senile nursemaid and an old discarded handbag can save the day. A very funny play, highly recommend. In June and July, we will be reading Vanity Fair by Thackeray. I've never read anything by this author and I'm very excited. Also, look at how beautiful this cover is. Vanity Fair. Let's see what this book is about on Goodreads. A novel that chronicles the lives of two women who could not be more different. Becky Sharp, an orphan whose only resources are her vast ambitions, her native wit, and her loose morals, and her schoolmate Emilia Sedley, a typically naive Victorian heroine, the pampered daughter of a wealthy family. That sounds interesting. In August, we will be reading Dangerous Legions by de Laclos. I also really love this cover. This was one of the most scandalous and controversial novels in European literature. I think this is going to be an interesting one to discuss. So it's about a couple who forms an unholy alliance and they turn seduction into a game. In September, we will be reading a novel by Alexandre Dumas. It is called The Night of Maison Rouge. This is set in Paris 1793, and the brave Republican Maurice rescues a mysterious and beautiful woman from an angry mob and is unknowingly drawn into a secret royalist plot, a plot revolving around the imprisoned Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, and her enigmatic and fearless champion, the Knight of Maison Rouge. This is also going to be a fun one. Next, in October, we will be reading Faust by Goethe, but only part 1. So anyone who wants to and who likes part 1 can proceed in November for part 2, because there will be time enough in November to proceed. So those who want to read part 2 with me will be most welcome to join. Faust is an audacious man boldly wagering with the devil that no magic, sensuality, experience or knowledge can lead him to a moment he would wish to last forever. I think this is going to be a quite challenging read, but I'm certain that everyone in the group will be very helpful to each other. In November and December, we will be tackling The Golden Bowl by Henry James. Let's read the blurb. When the shy Maggie Verner marries an Italian prince and her widowed father becomes the husband of the prince's former mistress, the stage is set for a complex and bizarre battle between two wives. The brilliant Charlotte Stant is determined to take back her lover. Maggie, to save both marriages and to protect her father from any knowledge of the adulterous legion. And then finally, in December, we will read First Love by Ivan Turgenev. I'm trying here, okay? This is when the down at heel princess Zasyekin moves next door to the country estate of Vladimir Petrovich's parents. He instantly and overwhelmingly falls in love with his new neighbor's daughter, Zinaida. But the capricious young woman already has many admirers, and as she plays her suitors against each other, Vladimir's unrequited youthful passion soon turns to torment and despair, although he remains unaware of his true rival for Zinaida's affection. I haven't read anything by Turgenev yet, and I'm of course very excited to get to know this author. These are the books that we will be reading next year, and I would love to know if you have read any of these, and if you have any advice, please drop it in the comment section, and I will see you next week.